All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of GTM Innovators by 360 Insights. I'm your host, Kyle James, and today we're going to dive into all things business texting and how that fits into your go-to-market strategy. And joining me today is Phil Portman. Phil, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for this conversation. You and I have just been kind of pre-gaming a little bit, just going all over the place. And I know that this will be a great show. We just kind of flow. And I don't know where we're going to go fully, but that's part of why it's going to be an interesting conversation. And everybody listening, buckle up.
I'm excited. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. Phil, you are the founder and CEO of Textdrip, a high-volume SMS automation platform built for regulated industries like insurance, mortgage, real estate. And you have a really cool entrepreneurial journey, kind of how you left the corporate world, started flipping houses, launched and sold a food delivery company. You know, I would love just to kind of give you a minute to kind of give your origin story, if you will, if you're a comic book guy.
Yeah.
Kind of how that led you into kind of founding TextDrip, and then we can get into kind of like this crazy world of SMS and how that's changed so much in the last, decade plus.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was in the corporate world, making six figures, making good money. We just had our two children, and I was traveling a lot. I was raised by by a single mother, one of seven children. And I looked at my own life and I was like, I don't want my wife being a single mother raising these kids on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I quit my job. And I said, I will never work for somebody again. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just decided that was it. I was going to figure it out. I wanted to spend time. I wanted to be there with my kids and family. I wanted control of my life. So initially, I started with real estate. I was flipping houses, had some rental properties, and we started this little side project. Now, I got to be clear. While I was flipping houses, I was doing all of these little entrepreneur gigs. Like, hey, let's see what works, right? Like even going to the end caps of retail stores, looking at like 90% off stuff, buying it and selling it on eBay. Like I was just looking for, hey, what am I going to get into? I was buying pallets of stuff and selling it, all kinds of stuff. Well, we started this food delivery company and it started taking off. I ended up franchising it. We operated across 6 states. And then I eventually sold to delivery.com. The reason I sold to delivery.com was this thing had expanded and I was back to traveling all over the place, working out of an office and not seeing my kids again. And I said, well, that's the whole reason I got out of the corporate thing. So yeah, I own this and this is my business, but I'm doing the same things I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So this time around, I decided that, hey, we're going to go the tech route. I'm going to limit the things I will do. I set the kind of the non-negotiables that I wanted. I started with a company called Argos Automation. We automated CRMs and that sort of thing. And while we were building this, we found this really big gap in communication, specifically with text messaging. Low deliverability, no transparency, compliance issues. We said, if we could figure this out, like if we can figure out and be the absolute best in this single category, a category that is not only has the best response rate, but it's the most preferred way of communication for Americans. If we can figure this out, I think there's an opportunity here. So we honed in on it, understood the compliance thing, understood the complexities, and it's exploded. And TextDrip has grown into the behemoth it is. And then on a side note, 2 years ago, we bought a 54-acre commercial horse farm, which is completely opposite. But it's honestly, it's my happy place. I absolutely love it there.
There you go. It's good to have that balance. And it's funny to hear you say like how important and big SMS text message is, because like even my mom, 78-year-old would rather text me a lot of times than call me. Oh, I don't want to disturb you. I don't want to get on the phone. I know you're busy. She drops me texts all day. But I can also remember the day 10 years ago where I don't want to text you because I don't want to pay 10 cents for it. I'm like, Mom, it's unlimited now. Like how quickly that stuff started changing. And you're right. Like it is to a point now where it has I think taken over email a lot of times. And we're seeing, for good and bad, I'd love you to kind of dig into this. Like the spam adoption of it. I probably got 2 today just of random people texting me. Like, how do you avoid that? How do you combat that? And I'm sure that presents its own challenges because people are now starting to try to block that stuff, right?
That's right. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's always going to be random bad actors out there, but that's really what they're trying to fix. So in the
Gotcha.
past, texting was supposed to be done through 800 numbers or short codes. That's how business texting was supposed to be done. However, people wanted a local presence in using what they call 10DLC. It's 10-digit long code. So in
Okay.
2019, they started rolling out regulations to figure out how they could monitor this business, how they could regulate it. And it's really to prevent like these overseas scammers with like the COVID relief fund, click here, or get a free Walmart gift card, click this link and enter your social security number, like that type of stuff. So they started rolling it out, and we've seen a large improvement in that. And it's clearing the pathway for legitimate businesses to do business through texting, to communicate with their customers, to communicate with their leads. And it's been effective, but because texting is so effective, you're still going to have these bad actors. And what they're doing is they're finding some other route to do it. Usually
Yeah.
it's hacking someone's account or doing something like that. And they text just long enough to get the message out there, and then their account's burned and they're on to something else. So
Got it.
hopefully it's going to get better, but until people or companies improve their security, I think we're going to continue to have issues with it. They're certainly not legitimate. If they're messaging you out of the blue, you can understand that they're not a legitimate service, because if they were, that wouldn't be allowed.
So is that a large part of what you kind of work with your clients in these regulated industries is establishing that, I guess, a trusted number that it can come from that has the domain, whatever it is in the text world. I'm very familiar with kind of email,
Email,
where you
sure.
have like the trust of the domain and how it gets through filters and all. It sounds like a lot of that's coming to text too.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So if you come on board with us or any legitimate business texting platform, what you have to do now is register your business entity and then create a campaign. And within that campaign, you're telling what you're doing, who you're communicating with, how often you're communicating with them, all of that. Fortunately, we guide you through all of that. We automate steps of it, and we have live people that help you submit the campaign. They want to know that you're a legitimate business operating legitimately. So that's what you're
Yeah.
coming on board with us doing. Um, so we help you guide that not only from the onboarding standpoint, but we also help guide you with what messages to send and what ones to stay away from. Because once again, they're trying to find those scammers out there that are blasting
Right.
out messages, and they have filtering to stop that. What you may not realize is that some of your messaging in there may accidentally be getting filtered because it's close enough to what they're saying. So what I commonly hear from people is like, hey, I tried texting before and it seemed like it worked for like a week or two, and then it didn't work anymore. Well, chances
Interesting.
are you're doing a few things wrong, either the way you were delivering, the volume you were delivering, or the actual message inside. Inside our platform, we really guide you with that. And then you have somebody that helps you set up your account. We highlight like keywords that are going to get flagged and are going to get you blocked. And then we help you rewrite the phrase that you're trying to, so you'll get the best deliverability. And then on top of that, we give you the reporting to make sure that you know exactly what's going on with your deliverability.
That's interesting. So there is a level of analytics, if you will, built out around this stuff now, because I guess that was always something that, I mean, once again, I know very little about SMS world. Because it's
Yeah,
been, and I guess you have to work with what the big cell phone providers, the Verizons and the AT&Ts world, because this
oh
is their
man,
networks that all of this lives on. Is
you
that
got
right?
it.
It's not like the internet where it's like open protocol. Um,
It
you
would be
really have to work
amazing
with
if
these
it
big
was.
giants.
Yes.
Mm,
It would be amazing if they all had a standardization, but they don't. They have different fees we have to pay them. They have different daily like volume limitations that they have. Each carrier is a little bit different. And then they have different rules that you have to follow for each one of them. So yeah, it would be beautiful if they were standardized, but they're not. And unfortunately, these things change regularly. So we have an entire
Wow.
compliance department dedicated to keeping track of that, not only what exists right now, but what's coming out in the future, and then what's rumored to come out in the future. So we have everything set up in place for if that thing gets rolled out, we're ready to go on it. A big thing that you talked about, the tracking of messages, that's different by company. Not all texting is the same. Not all texting companies are the same.
Okay.
Oftentimes, you'll get a deliverability rate from a texting company. I think just about every other texting company out there, the way they track it is they send your message off to the provider and they get a response that sent off messages was successful or not. And they say, hey, you got a 99% deliverability because we sent it off and they said we're good to go. That's not really accurate, though. The problem
Mm,
is, along the way, a lot of things can happen. On your downstream, it could get blocked by the carrier coming in, it could get blocked by the phone, it could get blocked. So the way we actually do it is we track it all the way down to the handset from the delivery receipt, and we wait for that to come back. And sometimes there can be delays on that. So when you look at your metrics, you send out a campaign throughout the day, you're seeing your delivery percentage change because we're waiting to get back those receipts from the actual handset carrier. That's the most accurate way to do it. That's by far the
interesting.
most accurate. And you may look at our platform and somebody else's and go, wait a minute, how come they have a higher deliverability percentage? Well, the answer is it's not accurate. So we know we have the highest deliverability percentage because it's accurate. We know what's causing it. We understand what is going through and what is not, and we help our clients deliver that.
That's fat. It's funny because it's so similar to email marketing, but absolutely fundamentally different too.
It
And
really
people
is.
probably think it's the same, but it's not. I mean, I could geek out on the tech, but I got a feeling a lot of people that listen to this podcast are thinking more of the. I would love you to like share like what type of stuff are customers using this stuff for, right? Like what kind of
Yeah.
campaigns are they running? What sort of intention are they doing? Is this more of like getting customers or they use it for prospecting or they use it for customers and is it using it for support? All of the above. Would love you to just share some of those, what you're seeing in maybe specific industries and how they're using it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yep. So SMS shines for immediate responses, updates, notifications, flash deals. It has a 90-second open rate. 90
Okay.
seconds. I mean, it's
Yeah.
there. If you look at your phone right now, how many unread text messages do you have versus how many unread emails do you have?
True.
If you're like me,
True.
I have little to no unread text messages. I'm on this call right now, so if some came through, maybe. Unread
Yeah.
emails, I
Same
probably
here.
have 50,000 in there. I don't know, right? Emails can be ignored. Text messages can't. There's just something about it. You got to clear it. You got to go in there and read it. Knowing that, it's like a push notification. It's a powerful tool. It's there. You have to respond to it. There's good and bad to that. The good is that when you have something that's of interest to that customer in that moment, you're going to get them engaged instantly. The bad side is if they don't want to receive that, you're going to piss off that customer immediately. So you have to
Yeah.
understand that it's a powerful tool, it's a powerful weapon that needs to be used appropriately. So,
Got it.
like what you were talking about with the email's great um, for nurturing the lead, for prospecting the lead. It's great because I can easily ignore that or engage with it when it's appropriate. When I'm going through my email and I say, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah, hey, this is cool," right? But text messaging is like, hey, I got this thing for you right now, right? Like, hey, you've shown interest in these type of houses. This one I think is going to be great for you. Or this plan is
Yeah.
great for you. Or this thing just dropped in price. Let me know if you want to get on it because it's instant. They need your communication. They need your feedback right then and there. Email is like, hey, here's an update on new housing market trends or new changes in the insurance industry. That's your prospecting lead. So they're different forms of communication. So keep that
Sure.
in mind when you're sending out text messages. You don't want to piss off your customers by sending out the wrong type of engagement.
That makes total sense, right? Like it's immediate action, quick wins, things that people can do fast. Don't expect it to send them a link to a website to go fill out a survey or something like that from a text message. You're not going to get the same hit rate, open rate as you would an email, but the likelihood they'll sit down and do something like that is probably a lot more. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the response rate on texting is 45% compared to 6% in email. So it's significantly higher, significantly higher. And then there's some other information around like sales in general. So sales in general, 80% of your sales require 5 follow-ups. 44% of people give up after 1 attempt. So that's where the automation
Mm,
sequence comes in. Say somebody goes on your website, they engage with you, they're interested, you put them on a TextDrip campaign, it's automatically following up with them when they're ready. So like with your grandmother who didn't want to bug you, so she sent you a text message, it's because it's non-committal. You could like get
right.
back to her in an hour or a day. It's just expected. Like, hey, when you get around to it, you're going to send a text message. And that's one of the benefits to texting. It's instant, it's immediate, it's read within 90 seconds, but you don't necessarily have to respond right there in that moment.
Talk to me more about that. Like, right, what are some of the campaigns that people are doing, and what are people seeing success in? We've kind of talked about the differences, but would love just to know like some examples of things because to your point, it's fundamentally different than how an email marketer would think about doing it because this is a different channel.
Yeah. So once again, the immediacy of something that you have going on, you need to understand your customer segment. There is not
Uh-huh.
a blanket advertising that you typically want to do. You want to segment your customers. Internally in our system, we do it with tags. So you're tagging the customer based on whatever it is. And then if you have something that is in that moment immediate for that customer or that lead, you want to respond to it in that way. So that's the first in a way that you want to do it. So not I have houses within your market that would be a great deal for you. No, I know you're interested in a 4-bedroom house with 2 baths on 3/4 of an acre larger. This house just hit the market, seems to be at a great price point. Let's hop on a quick call so we can schedule or what day are you available or click here to jump my calendar and
Yeah.
let's go take a look at it together, something like that, right? So you're really pressing the immediacy of getting on a call with you right now. And the best ways to do that are segmenting your customers based on the tags and things like that we talked about. Also using merge fields that can help individualize those texts to that individual. So it's the equivalent of you sitting there on the device saying, hey, I just saw this thing came up, but we're doing it in scale. We're doing it with an automation platform using both automation like tags and things like that, and also using AI to help you craft that message.
Right. I got it. So it could be you've scheduled a meeting with somebody for tomorrow and you send a quick text that morning or the night before just saying, hey, just wanted to quickly confirm that we're still on for tomorrow. Respond why if so, no if you need to reschedule. Quick things like that that just like
Absolutely.
make sure you're still on, get them
Yep.
thinking about you, being mindful, but it's in and out real fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And people forget things. I mean, just busy lives and stuff. So one of the things that we often talk about when you're engaging with somebody, because we have a beautiful mobile app. You could be sitting on a golf course,
Okay.
texting back and forth with somebody. You could use their computer app. We've got a Mac desktop app that you can use. We've got all different ways to communicate with customers. So you can be communicating with the customer, and then what could happen is they could disappear, right? I mean, no fault of theirs. Maybe they went on vacation. Had an emergency happen, whatever, and it's easy to forget about it. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, wait a minute, whatever happened to that guy I was talking to? He's really interested, right? So
Yeah.
what we recommend is every message you're putting a ghosted campaign on there, acting as if they're never going to respond again. our drips automatically break on response of the customer. So let's say I'm having an interaction with you, Kyle, and we're saying, yeah, hey, let's this house looks like a great deal for you. Let's get it scheduled. Right after I send that message to you, I put you on a ghosted drip. If you respond back and say, yeah, I can jump on, Saturday at 1 o'clock, and we go out and take a look at it, you're never going to see that ghosted drip. But if you
Right.
don't, that ghosted drip follows back up like, hey, Kyle, you still with me? This thing's going to move quickly. Like we gotta get this scheduled. And then maybe a day later, it follows back up with you like, hey, they've already had 3 lists showings on this thing or whatever. What are we doing about it? So it's automatically nurturing that lead. The nurturing
Uh-huh.
from the texting is fine if I'm already engaged in a conversation with them. The engagement that's
Yeah.
going to piss off people if it's not relevant to them is the cold outreach that you've gotten. Like you've described the spam messages that you've gotten. Those piss you off because they're cold outreach. They're not geared towards you, and it's not from a
Right.
conversation you were having with somebody.
Interesting. All right, so let's go here. You were kind of talking about kind of the automated sequence there. So I'm assuming you guys must integrate in or with CRM systems and can be part of that workflow, right? Where, all right, here's a email that might go. Here's where a SMS might trigger. Here's some data pulled into it that says, hey, there's 3 other listings associated with it, so you could kind of tie all that stuff together. Talk to me a little bit about kind of that piece, the integration piece, and what platforms do you commonly integrate with and all the good stuff?
Everything. In this day and age, if you're not working with a platform that's integrating with everything, you're working with the wrong
Yeah,
platform. That started TextDrip. When we started TextDrip, there was 2 things we wanted. One was a drip campaign, a really clean looking inbox, and we wanted to
yeah,
integrate with everything, right? So that's what you looked at with our UI. So from our API to our direct integrations with them to we have automation sequences that will connect with whatever your system is out there. Or the easiest method is we have a Chrome or Firefox extension that you can actually put in there, and it will grab the data directly from whatever CRM, whatever, say, hiring tool like you're using, whatever that has the phone number on the web page. And not only can you apply them to a drip campaign, it will pull up your inbox inside TextDrip. So you're not actually even
I
having
see.
to go to the TextDrip platform. You're not having to leave whatever it is you're looking at in your browser. You can use your inbox right inside there. Behind the scenes, TextDrip is automating things, applying tags, doing all sorts of things. But inside your interface for whatever CRM, whatever function you're using, you can have our inbox right there on that same page. We're also on like Zapier and all those other platforms as well, where you can connect things and make sequences go together. We also have an automation studio inside TextDrip where you can connect it with thousands of different third-party platforms. So you want to connect it to Facebook.
Got it.
You want to connect it to Google. You want to connect it to Google Sheets. You want to connect it to Salesforce. Anything you got out there, you can connect to TextDrip both in and out. On top of that, we have webhooks, so you can trigger a webhook sequence based on that. So you could say, hey, based on the intent of this customer, right? This
Yeah,
customer is interested. I want this trigger to happen, and it will pop into some other CRM or whatever you want to do. So we can set up however you want. And the beauty of it is we have live agents that help you do this. You go onto their Calendly, you schedule a link with them and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to achieve. And they'll jump on a Zoom call with you and help you get it all set up.
nice, nice. And I'm sure a lot of people like abstractly understand this, but I would love like how do you feel about sharing some of your own dog food tricks? Like, I know that this is a superpower of you because you built this platform, but also it's got to be something in your marketing and sales mix. Any like campaigns that you could share or just examples to kind of help people think out of the box some of the ways they can use this in a more specific way?
Yeah, marketing campaigns in general. So the first thing I want to say is in marketing in general, the most powerful thing you can do is always be A/B testing. Always be
Yes,
A/B testing. Never
always be
think
testing.
one thing is working. Split test all of your stuff, change it constantly, adapt it constantly. That's where we identify what works and what doesn't. Your industry is going to be completely different probably than mine. Throughout the year, things change, political environments, financial environments, everything changes constantly. That's the only common thing, is that it changes all the time. So if you're not
Sure.
A/B testing your marketing strategy on a regular basis, you're probably missing out on something. And we're always, not always, but oftentimes we're blown away at what our A/B testing resulted in. Like, that's weird. Why did that word do better here? I don't know what
You
it
got a
is, but
story?
you know what I'm saying?
You got a
Um,
story?
so-
You got a specific
yeah.
story there?
Well, the story. One of the things that's interesting is, like, free. We talked about this before. Free can't be used in email and texting. Like, it'll get blocked. But on
Yeah. Yeah.
websites, free is still doing really, really well. The word
Mhm.
free, it's still doing incredibly well on it. And so, as much as we try to work in other words, it continues to be a word that's working really well. But back to, like, what we are finding that's working is behind the scenes videos, things like that that show some of your authenticity. We're seeing that's working a lot more. Um, our
So you
customers,
drive them on their phone to a short testimony or case study or something like that related to their industry or
no, specifically, they want to see the behind the scenes of our company. So
got
we're
it.
seeing, like, the highest engagement in, like, social media posts or any of our marketing campaigns are coming from seeing behind the scenes, employee promotions, what's going on, what does work life look like, things like that. And I think it's because this is kind of my theory behind it. With AI and everything that's going on in this day and age, you can create a website and an environment that makes you look a lot more polished than you maybe aren't,
A
right?
lot bigger than you are, sure.
Yeah. And so people kind of want to see, like, behind the curtain, who's back there, like, what's going on right now. And so we're seeing a lot more of that in our specific marketing campaigns, for that. Now, for texting specifically, there is one thing that will get your campaign killed today and that you need to watch out for that you probably don't realize. If you're doing this right now, I guarantee your engagement is incredibly low. It is cold outreach in your messaging. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by this. This is something that all of the carrier algorithms are looking for. The example would be, hey, Bob, or hey, Bob, whatever it is. I represent customers in your area. Are you looking for my service? That's a cold outreach, and it's getting
Yeah.
flagged by the carriers. It's getting blocked. Your response needs to be coming from a question or an inquiry. Hey, Bob, I got your information. Absolutely. Let's get on a call and schedule a time to talk. Right. So you're responding to somebody. If your messaging is cold outreach, doesn't sound like that person has any idea who you are and certainly never contacted you, they are blocking that left and right. So that is probably the top thing right now that you can do to get a higher response rate. Change it to a response to an inquiry instead of a cold outreach.
And with that, like, how how are you using it? Are you or do you have tools that, like, offer up AI to kinda help you, I don't know, maybe grade a message or tell you, "Hey, if you change it this way, it's more likely to get through." Or, if someone's doing a mass campaign, they can take some of the data from the CRM, some of the conversations, and tweak it all a little bit to kind of be more relevant, be more relational, be more specific to kinda 'cause it sounds like these filters are really set up to kind of watch intent, right?
That's right. Yeah. So internally, we have our own AI systems that we built from the ground up. Things for, like, understanding intent, for understanding your data that we built from scratch that are not based on large language models. However, we do also have some integrations with large language models on the front end. We're using some of those to help you craft your messages better. And that's really where that comes in really well. We send it to feedback and what we're looking for, and it helps you rewrite your messaging that's going to work better. So when you come in there and you say, put in a message that we know is not going to work well, we flag that message inside there and tell you, hey, we suggest you write it this way and you're going to get a better response rate.
Mm,
And then
got it.
you can send it out and track it for yourself and see the response rate. Because once again, even with our platform, you should always be doing A/B testing. Don't just take our word for it. Test it out. See how it does. You can have up to 49
Yeah.
different numbers. So if you wanted to, you could test one out in one number, one out in another phone number, see how it goes.
Talk to me about that piece, right? Like, I'm sure there's people out there that have burned a number maybe, right? Like, they're trying to something, they weren't getting through the filters, and you even mentioned that at the beginning where, yeah, we did it, and then a week later, it kinda wasn't working. Is that the what is the advice or, tips for customers that are navigating through challenges like that? Is it just to spin up another number? Is it to get a platform like you guys that help you navigate through all that for you, or is it really just to write better copy?
There's a lot that goes into that, but numbers are really tracked to campaigns now. So if you burnt your number, a lot of times it's too late. So with our analytics, we are stopping campaigns that we see are going to be a problem before your number gets burnt. So we're stopping that. And then we either require you to kind of go through a little tutorial that helps you fix what that is, or we get on a call with somebody and they're going to walk you through what you need to do differently in that. The top one
Yeah.
is that cold outreach messaging. Like that is the top reason we get on with people is just, hey, you just need to change it. It looks like a cold outreach. We understand what you're trying to say, but it looks like a cold outreach, and that's why the carriers are flagging it, right? Or another one is you're trying to message dead numbers, numbers that
Mm,
no longer exist, or they're going to like a landline or whatever. We have a platform called Landline Remover where you can run your lead list through it and it will remove any non-textable numbers. It will show you who's on the do not call registry. And then most importantly, we remove known litigators. And known litigators are people who go on and request your information and they're trying to figure out a way to sue you. And they're not actually going to sue you. They're going to send you a letter saying, send me $5,000 or I'm going to take you to court. And that's just their job. They're called known litigators. We
jeez.
track them. We have an entire database full of them. And we you can run them through there. So if
It's kinda like a
you're
blacklist, it sounds like.
it is the blacklist, yeah. So if you're hitting a certain things with your leads, sometimes that's the recommendation. Run it through Landline Remover before you message them, and it's gonna weed out a lot of those non-textable numbers. And then it's either that or your messaging quality is the two things that you could do, and we'll help guide you on that.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like a mix that everybody should be using on some level or another. Like, it's another tool for the tool belt, and it gets conversations going, and to your point, anytime you can get something that 90 seconds is the response rate on, urgency, "Hey, we're trying to close this deal today. How do you get in touch with somebody?" That's how. Um, what sort of tips or best practice do you have for people that are just now starting, like, listening to a conversation like this? Like, you know what? We need to introduce more, or start doing at all, um, B2B kinda SMS in our marketing mix. Like, how do you get started? What kind of tips would you recommend to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, TextDrip, if you do go through us as a platform, it's completely free to try it. We do a free trial. You can come on board, test us out. Not only with the free trial, you can also schedule a free one-on-one with somebody who will help you set up your TextDrip account to make it work. That is me saying, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I know this
Mm,
platform is going to work so well for you. I'm going to give it to you for free with no contracts to try it out. If you're for some reason not willing to take that risk, I'd say watch our videos. We put out a lot of videos on this type of information. We have a YouTube channel. You can go on there and you can watch a lot of the tutorials and the things that we tell you to do and what to stay away from. So if you are using another platform, try that out.
yeah.
That's a good way to start with it. If you do come on with us, please take advantage of doing a demo with one of our account specialists. They're really going to help you understand it. And the 30 minutes or an hour that you spend with them is going to pay dividends in the increased deliverability, the higher response rate, all of it, and just the better understanding of our platform. So please take advantage of those if you will. But we put out a lot of great videos on it, and the market is constantly changing. The industry is constantly changing. What works right now on this call may be a little bit different in 6 months and maybe even different in 3 months. It's constantly changing. So if you go on there, ask us the questions, watch the videos, at least you'll be a lot ahead. And then, like I said, you can jump on and go to textdrip.com and sign up for a free trial to test it out for yourself.
And I'm curious too, maybe this is kind of my ignorance and maybe some of the listeners out there have the same thing, but like how does it priced in this industry? Like I'm assuming it's on a volume basis or something, or more than it is
Yeah.
like a number of numbers in the database. But what should people expect around pricing for this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you're on a 10DLC business texting, you are paying per text message, right? It's not like the old days where you pay a monthly fee for unlimited text messaging. If you
Right.
are on a service that is unlimited text messaging for a set price, it's what we call P2P, or it's peer-to-peer messaging. That is designed for personal communication, like let's say like a Google Voice, right? Google Voice is designed for personal communication. It's not designed for business texting. So if you're paying a flat
Got it.
monthly fee for it, there will be a point where all of a sudden your deliverability drops. You're getting no
It's
response.
not set up for scale.
It's
Yeah.
not. No. And the carriers, once they identify that you're sending business texting on it, they'll start blocking and throttling you. Your messages won't go through.
Mm,
What we're doing, and any business texting, is we're paying the carriers to reserve bandwidth to make sure your messages are going through. It ranges. People could charge 3 to 5 cents a message. We charge, our retail price is 1.2 cents per text message. You can
okay.
get under a cent if you buy in bulk, basically, if you buy the messages in bulk.
Sure.
Our mid-tier program that most people go with is like $34.99 a month for it. So it's $34.99 a month and 1.2 cents per text message. So most of your campaigns are pretty. It depends on the volume that you do ultimately, but if you take advantage of the discounts that we offer, it's under a penny per text message, and that's probably the best retail pricing you will get in the industry.
That's competitive pricing. I mean, from what I know about it, but anytime you can do it's cheaper than snail mail, it's cheaper than a lot of other stuff. Phil, I'm trying to be mindful of your time because I know you've got a hard stop to get out of here so your wife doesn't get mad at you. But what have I not asked you? Like in kind of closing here, what have I not asked you that people should know as they think about getting into this and people that are doing it? Lots of good tips that you've already left, like, A/B testing, intent based the way you communicate. But what have I not asked that you wanna kinda leave people with to tips and advice?
Yeah, absolutely. So AI does the grunt work, sorting, tagging, flagging, but humans still close the deal. You
Yeah,
still need to be involved. Use AI as a tool. Don't get lazy with AI. That's really the message that I have for anybody today. There is something that sets you apart in your business. You have a voice, you have a unique brand. Make sure that in your communication, in the things that you're doing, not only in texting and marketing, but on the internet as a whole, that it's coming through. It's your voice, it's your legacy, it's who you are. And in a day where the internet and marketing is getting so crowded with this generic AI content, you're going to stand out far more if your unique voice is heard. So use it as a tool, but it's not a replacement for you.
that's interesting because it's what I hear you say when I say is, like, it's okay to have run-on sentences and not punctuation and things like that in your text message because it looks human, and that actually is a different differentiator in today's day, unfortunately, right?
It really is. I mean, the fact that we're, saying ums and ahs on this thing and stuttering and stuff, it's a human, it's people that you're
Yeah.
talking to. And I am constantly looking for humans in messaging now and communication with people because so much of what I'm receiving through email, LinkedIn, social media, I could see it's AI generated, right? They all got the M dashes in there. You seen those, right? Like
Oh, yes, that's
dead
how
giveaway.
you
Nobody use
tell.
M
Dead
dashes
giveaway.
that
Nobody
much,
writes
right?
like that.
No. And your customers can see that as well. If you are using AI in your messaging, make sure you let your customers know, because the moment that they determine it through something happen, which they'll figure it out eventually, you'll get some hallucination or some error or something like that along the ways, you will ruin the trust of them immediately, right? So, like Amtrak, for instance, has this virtual assistant, I think it's Julie. Well,
Okay.
it's AI, and it's a quirky way of doing it. You name it. Hey, I'm your AI assistant, whatever, right? McDonald's
Yeah.
recently had a thing. Did you hear about this? They had a hack, and they use AI um, for recruiting. So when you submit your application, it goes through AI, and you're communicating with AI. Well, exposed millions of applicants because it had a password of 12345
Oh
that they got
gosh.
through, and
Leave it to
they hacked.
McDonald's.
Yeah, give it up for them. So the thing with the AI is that they're very upfront that you're interacting with AI, that it's not a human. Don't try to trick your customers into thinking they're dealing with a human when they're not. Um, because that's a really quick way to break the trust. So use AI to help automate things and do all sorts of stuff. But if you're going to use it to communicate with your customers, make sure that you disclose that to them, or you'll end up breaking their trust.
That's a great tip. I think that's a great winner to kind of let end with here. Phil, thanks so much for spending the time to talk to me today. And like, this is something new to me. I know very little about SMS, besides what I've done one-on-one for years for a business standpoint. It's very different. So really great conversation. And I'm sure the audience found a lot of value in this too. Um, Kind of in closing, how could people find you? Get a plug for your podcast. I know you've got a great podcast where you kind of interview people about what success means and what are the ways can people kind of connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can connect with me on all the social media platforms. Just look up Phil Portman. My website, philportman.com. Success is podcast. If you look up success is, I interview people and just ask them a simple question. What does success mean to you? And how did you achieve your version of success? Just that question. And it's interesting to hear just the different stories and different ways that people talk about success in their life. Out of that, and
Yeah,
then my own personal experiences, I wrote a book called The Three Keys to Success. And in
nice.
here, yeah, I kind of outlined some of the common themes that I hear from people. Doesn't matter if they were a hedge fund manager, entrepreneur, author, some of the things that we distilled and down to these three keys. I will warn you, it's a workbook. So there is a lot of exercises and things that you have to do inside this book. It's not just a read it, throw on a shelf, and go, great, I know what to do now. If you want to achieve your version of success, you gotta work at it. This is available on philportman.com as well as links to my podcast and all of that. If you are interested in learning more about business texting, see if it's going to work in your industry, see if it's going to work for your business, jump on with us at textdrip.com. We're not going to, if you have something that's not going to work, we are very clearly going to tell you, hey, this ain't going to work, because we don't want you coming onto the platform. We pay for your campaign fees. We do all this setup and stuff, and then it's a flop. We're going to tell you, hey,
Yeah,
this will work, this won't work, or this won't work in the fashion that you want to do it. This is how we would recommend you do it. All that is completely
nice.
free. We're not going to try to pressure you into something because, yeah, that would be bad on our part as well as yours. It has to work. It has to be effective because we don't have any contracts. So you're going to tell us to kick rocks if it doesn't work out. So go to textstrip.com, schedule a demo with one of our specialists, tell them what you're working on, what you want to do, and they're going to tell you, hey, this is what I'd recommend, and this is how I do it.
Very cool. Very cool. Get the whole white glove treatment from 'em. Well, Phil, thanks again for sitting down and talking to me. And for everyone out there, thanks for tuning in. Make sure, if you haven't already, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. And we'll be back next time with another Go to Market Innovators. Until then, keep growing, everybody.